The music was soft, romantic, and filled the air with laughter and warmth. But for Emma, it felt like a cruel melody mocking her loneliness. Everyone in the hall was paired, couples twirling under chandeliers, hands brushing, smiles exchanged. But she sat alone at the edge of the table, clutching the napkin in her lap, pretending not to notice the pitiful glances people threw her way. Her sister, the glowing bride, was dancing with her new husband, and their happiness was everything Emma should have felt proud of. But deep down, her heart trembled with hurt, because in that very moment, surrounded by flowers, lights, and love, Emma had never felt more invisible. If you're already feeling the emotion in this story, don't forget to hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to Soul Spark for more heart-touching stories just like this one. She hadn't expected to feel this small tonight. Emma had come with hope. A hope that maybe she'd blend in, smile, celebrate, and move on from the breakup that had shattered her only a few weeks before the wedding. Her ex had left her for someone else, cruelly telling her she wasn't the kind of woman who turned heads. That sentence had replayed in her mind all evening as she tried to sit upright, forcing a polite smile each time someone passed her by. Her mother was too busy greeting guests, her father lost in proud conversation with the groom's family. No one noticed that Emma's seat was empty beside her. Or rather, they noticed, and whispered. Then came the bridesmaids' table, her sister's friends from college, their champagne-filled laughter occasionally cutting sharp through the air like glass. "Isn't that Emma?" One whispered, not quietly enough. "She didn't even bring a +1. Another giggled. "I guess not everyone finds love in time." Emma's stomach twisted. She pressed her lips together, hiding her hurt behind the rim of her glass. Her eyes burned, but she refused to cry here. Not in this beautiful hall. Not in front of the people who loved to watch others break quietly. She needed air. She rose from her chair and slipped out through the side door into the courtyard. Cool night air brushed her cheeks. Fairy lights hung like fallen stars above her, and distant laughter drifted through the open doors. For a moment, she thought she could breathe again. That's when she saw him. He was standing near the fountain, holding the hand of a little girl in a pale blue dress. The girl looked about 6 or 7, with big eyes and a serious expression as she tried to balance a cupcake in one hand. The man knelt, gently fixing the ribbon on her dress, his movements calm and tender. He was in his early 30s, tall, clean-shaven, with kind brown eyes that somehow looked tired yet warm. The little girl giggled when he poked her nose, and Emma couldn't help but smile softly. It was such a pure, unguarded moment. But before she could turn away, the little girl noticed her. "Daddy, she's alone," she said, her voice curious, innocent. The man turned, slightly embarrassed. "Leela," he whispered. Then he looked at Emma, and something unreadable flickered across his face. "Sorry about that," he said, walking closer with a gentle smile. "Kids have no filter." Emma chuckled lightly, shaking her head. "It's okay. She's just observant." "I'm Noah," he said, offering his hand. "And this is my daughter Leela. We're sort of the outsiders here too." That made her laugh softly. "Emma," she replied. "And yes, I can relate to that." Noah nodded, his eyes full of quiet understanding. "You looked like you needed a rescue mission back there." Her brows furrowed. "You noticed." He smiled faintly. "Hard not to. You looked like you were trying very hard not to exist." Emma blinked, caught off guard by how accurately he saw through her. Then, just as another group of guests spilled into the courtyard, he leaned closer and whispered with a grin, "Act like you're with me." She froze. "What?" He gave a playful shrug. "Trust me. It'll make them stop staring." Before she could object, he gently took her hand, the kind of touch that wasn't invasive, just warm, steady, reassuring. The little girl giggled again and tugged at Emma's dress. "You're pretty," she said brightly. Emma smiled down at her. "Thank you, sweetheart." And just like that, something shifted. Noah guided her back into the hall. They found 2 empty seats together near the corner, pretending to be a couple who'd arrived late. People noticed them, but this time, not with pity. Some even smiled at them as if they belonged together. For the first time all night, Emma felt safe. As the dinner began, Noah told her how he was the groom's coworker, invited out of politeness, and how he hadn't planned on staying long. "But Leela wanted to see the bride's dress," he said with a grin. "And you know how it goes with little girls and fairy tales." Emma found herself laughing again, the sound surprising her. It felt light, free. They talked about everything, from how she worked as a children's illustrator to how he was a widower raising his daughter alone. When he spoke about his late wife, his tone softened with respect rather than sorrow. "It's been 3 years," he said quietly. "Leela barely remembers her, but I make sure she knows her mother was love itself." Emma listened, her heart twisting. "She's lucky to have you," she said. Noah smiled at her gently. "I'm lucky to have her. She keeps me going." Later that night, during the slow dance, the DJ dimmed the lights and called for couples to take the floor. Emma hesitated, but Noah stood, extending his hand again. "For the sake of our cover," he teased lightly. She laughed, shaking her head, but took his hand anyway. As the music swelled, he placed one hand softly on her waist, and they moved slowly under the golden lights. It wasn't like the movies, it was better. It felt real, like two broken souls quietly fitting into the spaces the world had left empty. For a few minutes, Emma forgot where she was. She forgot the whispers, the pity, the loneliness. All she saw was the man in front of her. His steady eyes, his calm presence, the way he looked at her like she wasn't invisible at all. When the song ended, neither of them wanted to let go. Outside later, as guests began to leave, Noah turned to her. "You know," he said softly, "you don't have to hide who you are. You're enough. The right person won't make you feel small for sitting alone." She blinked, her throat tightening. "Thank you. For tonight, you didn't have to." He interrupted gently, "Maybe I needed it as much as you did." Leela ran up to hug Emma's legs. "Bye."
"Miss Emma, I like you."
Emma crouched to hug her back. "I like you too, little one." When she stood again, Noah was looking at her with something like quiet hope. "Maybe next time," he said. "We don't have to pretend." Her breath caught. She nodded slowly. "I'd like that." And as they walked away into the night, father, daughter, and a woman who'd found a spark of light in her darkest loneliness, Emma realized something she hadn't felt in years, that sometimes the people meant to save you don't show up with promises of forever. They just show up when your heart needs to remember what kindness feels like. If this story touched your heart, make sure to hit comment how it made you feel, and subscribe to Soul Spark for more emotional, cinematic stories that remind us all that love finds us when we least expect it. Weeks later, when Emma saw Noah again at a park, Leela running ahead with her sketchbook in hand, it wasn't awkward or uncertain. It was as if time had gently led them back to each other. Because sometimes life doesn't give second chances wrapped in fireworks. Sometimes it gives you a quiet, unexpected moment, a hand reaching for yours when you thought no one would. And for Emma, that moment began with a single dad saying, "Act like you're with me."